So, a week or so ago, one of my daughters had some friends over, and I heard her make a comment about her mom taking one of her weekends. And the way she said it made me feel like this parent was going to take time for themselves. And I thought, oh, well, good for them. That's great to hear. So, I do come to find out that this person every so often takes a weekend for themselves, and they actually go stay at a hotel, I believe close by, like in the city, but doesn't take phone calls. And if there's an emergency, then you would text, and of course we'll deal with if there's a real emergency. But basically, she has time completely to herself. She can shop when she wants, she can eat when she wants or what she wants. She can do nothing if she wants, but she has found this as her way to kind of rejuvenate and provide that self-care. And I think it is an amazing idea. I think it's the coolest idea. Now, I understand not everybody can afford to do that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no right way to provide self-care. There isn't. I think that sometimes what makes it difficult is because we don't know if we're doing it right or if we're doing it too much. But anyhow, there's no way to do it wrong, really. So I think it's important, though, that we do make sure we find our ways to provide self-care. It could be like that could be totally fun. And then again, it doesn't have to be that big a deal, right? It can be those little things. But if an opportunity comes up for you to get away, or better yet, you and your significant other, even though it's going to cause you some inconvenience, it's important that you do it. If you're concerned about leaving your kids, it's okay if they miss you. There's nothing wrong with them missing you. What you're teaching them about taking care of themselves and what you're going to be able to do for them as a result of taking care of yourself is way more than them missing you for a night or two. So if it's an opportunity, and if it ever happens, even unexpectedly, and it makes you have to finagle things to make it happen, do it. Because the benefits are huge and they're for everybody. So that was my new idea that I learned about for self-care, and I think it is fantastic. Not something that I've done, but I think it's fantastic. So I want to move on from self-care this week to something that's really been on my mind. And I feel like I need to make a disclaimer before I start talking about it. I worry that people take things to such extremes that they're going to assume I am. And I'm not. There's nothing that I talk about in a video that I mean to an extreme. There's an exception for everything. There's nothing that I have to say that is directly reflected back about somebody doing something wrong. It's just my opinion or my observation or something I found helpful to me and thought maybe others might find it helpful. So please know if I say something, I'm not taking it to an extreme, and there's an exception for everything. That being said, and you're probably wondering, okay, Connie, what's your point? Here it is. My personal observation, a little bit of research to support a couple things, but a lot of it's truly observation, is that helicopter parenting is causing a huge problem with mental health in our society. Now, I'm not saying that helicopter parenting causes a mental health disorder. That's physical. That's something not working correctly in your brain or something not going where it should be. It's genetic. So if you're on medication because you have schizophrenia or you're depressed or you have anxiety or OCD, helicopter parenting couldn't cause it. However, I think it increases our problem with it. mental health is important to everybody. There's no one that doesn't affect. So when I say that, understand that I'm not using it as a reasoning for somebody to have mental health. So let me go a step farther. Let me give you a better understanding as to what I mean. So I feel like we've reached a point in our society where we feel like anything our children do is a direct reflection of us as a parent. And it's not. Now, I definitely feel there are a lot of good things that have changed over time, that we've learned more about how to parent or better ways to parent. And as a result of that, we're doing better, or we're trying better ways. I had a friend who would always say, when you know better, you can do better. So if you don't know, you can't improve or change something. But once you know, then it's up to you to take that information and use it so that you can do better. Now, there is absolutely data that supports the fact that helicopter parenting increases anxiety with kids, and it also can depression, because they don't get a chance to make mistakes. And data will show that we learn the best when we make mistakes. So we should make mistakes. They're kids. They're going to make mistakes. But that doesn't reflect on you as a parent necessarily. If you want your child to truly learn how to do something for themselves, they're going to have to do it wrong at some point, or it's not going to go perfectly. And if it does go perfectly, then they're going to think they can only make that happen if they completely reproduce the exact same situation. Or maybe there's more than one way to do it. Anyhow, my point being, our children's learning mistakes, choices that they make, are not always a direct reflection of parents. Kids need to not turn their homework in to find out what the natural consequence is at school. Kids need to forget a coat or not take it even when you wanted them to at an appropriate age, so that they understand when you make that suggestion or when you remind them next time, they should actually take it seriously. This is not a judgment on how you're parenting. This is just about those that seem to be taking it to an extreme. And there is an extreme. If you are involved in your child's life and are doing the best that you can, then you're doing the right thing. That's what they need. They need you, and they need you present and involved. But that doesn't mean everything they do is because you've made a mistake. So here's a little bit farther what I mean. We cause ourselves more anxiety and depression when we overparent, when we helicopter parent, because we're not only worried about making our lives go the way we need them to, and we're not just worried about providing the necessities for our children, but we're also worrying about making sure nothing goes poorly, or if it does, that you fix it. And so that adds more stress to our lives. No one needs more stress. No one needs more stress. And sometimes you're thinking, I know, but if I let them make the mistake and it happens, then that makes me anxious. Yeah, but it was not going to forever. They're going to learn from it. And this is where your parenting skills come in. They're going to learn from it. And then you're not going to have to feel so anxious, because you'll have experienced something going wrong and not the worst case scenario happening. Or that your child was upset or hurt, not physically, maybe emotionally, and they're gonna be okay from it. Like, they have to learn how to pick themselves back up and start again, because you aren't always going to be there. So this is probably a discussion I actually will continue over multiple videos, but I guess I just wanted to get the idea out there to begin with, that I feel, in my personal observation, that helicopter parenting is causing everyone a lot of problems. And my example right there is that it's also causing you personally issues. And then we'll also talk about how that trickles down. But it's a thought, something for you to ponder. You might disagree. You might have a different perspective. You can have a different perspective. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to agree with me. But I like to know why somebody has a different opinion. Not that it's wrong, but I like to hear the other perspective as well. Like, I like to know both sides of the story so I can get a better feeling for what I truly believe, or how learning new information fits into what I currently believe, because maybe I need to change my thoughts, or maybe it confirms my thought. My point being, you need to be open to other people's opinions. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to like their opinions. But hearing them isn't going to hurt you. It's only going to make you a more well-rounded person. So, helicopter parenting doesn't cause mental health disorders, but it's impacting our negative health. It's impacting our mental health negatively, is my thought. So, we'll revisit this again next week. This will definitely be multiple videos, but I kind of wanted to get the thought out there this week, and for you to start pondering how that resonates with you, or how it resonates with your observations, or what you know, and see if there's anybody else that kind of feels the same way. So if you want to make a comment, of course, you're always welcome to make a comment, but it's really been on my mind, so I felt I needed to start talking about it. That's all I have for this time. We'll see you next time. Bye.